Hello and welcome to Follow the Money. I'm Raine Musñgi. Join us as we explore the tools and insights you need to jumpstart your financial journey. A stark new forecast from the World Trade Organization. The WTO expects global trade growth to slow to just 1.1% this year. That's a sharp drop from previous estimates of 2.5%. With geopolitical tensions, rising inflation, and supply chain disruptions, this could mean a tougher road ahead for the global economy. The Philippines strengthens its energy partnership with Saudi Arabia. Energy officials are on a two-day mission in the Middle East, where both countries have signed a memorandum of understanding, laying the groundwork for cooperation in areas like renewable energy and natural gas. This follows President Bongbong Marcos' attendance at the first ASEAN Gulf Cooperation Council Summit in Saudi Arabia last year. During that summit, Saudi state-owned companies expressed interest in investing in the Philippine energy sector. This comes as Saudi Arabia supplied nearly half of the Philippines' crude oil imports in the first half of 2023, making it a critical partner in securing the country's energy supply. Oil prices fell 2% on Monday as OPEC again lowered its outlook for 2024 and 2025. Global oil demand growth, while China's oil imports fell for the fifth straight month. China's stimulus plans failed to inspire investor confidence, while markets kept watching for potential Israeli attacks on Iranian oil infrastructure. Brent crude futures settled 2% lower at $77.46 per barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures fell 2.29% to $73.83 per barrel. Sovereign debt risks are growing. S&P Global has issued a report predicting a rise in sovereign debt defaults over the next decade, especially among emerging markets. This forecast comes as countries face mounting pressures from inflation, high interest rates, and political instability. And joining us today is Bureau of Internal Revenue Commissioner Raine Musñgi. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, Commissioner.
Thank you as well, Raine, for the opportunity to be here with you.
So as we were talking about in the news earlier, with the rising prices of oil, there are proposals to remove temporarily the VAT and excise taxes on it. What's your quick take on this?
Well, that's a matter of policy. That's why we, of course, as implementing agency, the BIR is ready and will implement whatever policies that the DOF and the government will do with respect to this proposal.
In terms of in peso terms, how much does the Philippines stand to lose just in case we do scrap the VAT and excise taxes on oil?
But right now, I don't have the exact figures, but it will be substantial and significant. And considering that we need the funds to finance the budget, that would I think that's the main consideration that the economic team would have to take into consideration in deciding whether or not to cut down on taxes on fuel.
Thank you. In another topic, the BIR says that it supports RA 12023 VAT on digital service providers to promote fair competition among businesses that are profiting from consumers here in the Philippines. We're talking the likes of YouTube and Netflix. Now, some 105 billion pesos in revenues are expected to be collected in 5 years due to the new law. What would you prescribe for the IRR so that this law would achieve its goals?
We're currently drafting the implementing rules already, and the main point here is to make it easy and to make it easy for the foreign digital service providers to register here in our agency and to pay the VAT. Of course, these foreign digital service providers have no presence here in the Philippines. That's why we have to come up with a system where they could register and pay easily, so that there will be no problems in implementing this law. So we're currently crafting, and we're also teaming up with the IT professionals to come up with a system that will be in place to implement this as well.
Have you heard any communication from the likes of Netflix that they are willing to comply with this law?
Yes, actually, even during the deliberations of this law, we've been in constant communication with the big players, and they will comply with this, and they think that it's really just it's fair, because this is not a new concept. Actually, this is not really a new tax. This has been the practice all over the world, and in fact, we're quite a bit late in implementing this. But it's already an accepted practice that when a foreign digital service provider has customers outside of its home jurisdiction, then they'd have to pay the corresponding VAT in that place where they have customers. So it's an accepted practice universally already.
Understood, Commissioner. Shifting gears now, Senator Ralph Recto has argued that the Philippines does not need a wealth tax. What is your stance on this matter, especially considering the existing income inequality and public pressure to tax the wealthy? How would a wealth tax impact tax compliance and collection efforts in the country?
Again, that's a matter of policy, and as implementing agency, we would defer to the wisdom of the economic team with respect to that, because they see the macroeconomics on this matter. But as to wealth tax, I think one major point to consider here is how would that affect the foreign investors here and the wealth that is in the Philippines? Would that have an effect of just the wealth actually, or the money or the assets just leaving here in the Philippines because of this wealth tax? So it's really it's not there's a really good argument against it, but of course there's also an argument in favor of it. But in the end, it's the economic team that has to weigh the pros and cons with respect to having this wealth tax, and it's a very important and very critical decision point because of the effect of the wealth here in the Philippines.
That's right. Of course, all with an eye on the budgets. Now, the government's debt servicing costs nearly 1.55 trillion as of August this year. How does the BIR plan to meet its collection targets and help manage national debt, especially amid the economic slowdown? If I'm not mistaken, like 75% of the budgets for debt servicing has already been exhausted. Are there other revenue-generating measures you'd like to see passed?
Well, I guess one legislative measure that is pending is the tax on single-use plastic. But more than implementing new taxes, I think as far as BIR is concerned, we're focused on the efficiency of our agency in order to improve our collection. We are also looking at the illicit trades. We've seen a lot of tax leakages with respect to the illicit trades of cigarettes, vape products especially, and with respect to ghost receipts or the fake receipts that we've been running after. These are practices that are harmful to our economy. That's why we've been concentrating on running after these syndicates. So we want to change the taxpayers' behavior, that it's not worth cheating their tax obligations. And also, our systems, we are going to improve our systems in order to have efficiency in our tax collections. So that's where we're going at in the next few months, and in the coming years, we are going to improve our systems, and the taxpayers will feel it. And we are hoping that when we improve our tax collection, tax compliance would also increase. That's our main focus right now.
There's a lot of optimism surrounding your action on going after these tax evaders, and we are watching closely. And thank you so much for your time, BIR Commissioner Musñgi.
Thank you so much as well, and thank you for the opportunity. Good morning to everyone.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much. When we come back, we'll have a chat with a registered financial planner who will tell us how best to use hard-earned funds. Follow the money. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Japanese investment bank Nomura sees only a 15% chance that the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas will make a big 50 basis point rate cut at tomorrow's policy meeting. Nomura says there's an 80% chance of a smaller 25 basis point cut. They expect the central bank to stay focused on keeping inflation in check, using the latest inflation data to guide their decision. Nomura also says the BSP knows that ongoing geopolitical issues could push oil prices higher, which would impact inflation. They add that among 9 Asian economies, the Philippines is the least connected to China due to weak trade and investment ties. As a result, China's recent economic stimulus has little impact on the Philippine economy. Meanwhile, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC, is riding high, reporting a whopping 40% jump in quarterly profits. The boom is driven by surging demand for AI chips, a trend that shows no signs of slowing as industries worldwide ramp up their AI capabilities. An industry analyst says TSMC's AI chip production is leading the market, and the profits reflect a massive demand for these advanced technologies. Singapore's regulators have blocked a $1.7 billion deal involving Allianz's acquisition of a local insurer. The decision, based on concerns over competition and market impact, is a significant setback for Allianz as it seeks to expand in Asia. Analysts say this ruling signals Singapore's tough stance on market consolidation. The Allianz Group is one of the world's leading insurers and largest investors, managing around 741 billion euros on behalf of insurance customers. Bitcoin rose Monday, lifting shares of stocks linked to the cryptocurrency. Bitcoin jumped more than 5% to around $66,000 for the first time this month. Cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase rose 11%, and Bitcoin miner Marathon Digital Holdings added 5.6%. The move came as broader markets, including the tech-focused NASDAQ Composite, rose to start the week. They also follow statements from U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump that could signal Washington may move toward a more crypto-friendly outlook. On to our special guest now. In the Philippines, saving and financial discipline are pressing concerns as many households struggle to keep any savings and emergency funds. With the holiday season approaching, Filipinos are faced with the challenge of managing year-end bonuses and holiday expenses. Today on Follow the Money, we are joined by Mariel Bitanga Quintanar, a registered financial planner who has been helping Filipinos develop practical strategies for saving and financial management. Mariel, welcome to the program, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Can you give us an idea as to what kind of financial advice people come to you for?
So usually when I usually target, or my usual clients are millennial women, right? And when they come to me, most of the time, they're kind of just unsure if what they're doing is right. They're overwhelmed with, budgeting, how to start investing, even like insurances. And some of them also come to me when they deal with things like credit card debt or future planning for their like long-term goals.
Right, and of course, as bonuses are released, holiday bonuses start getting released this month, actually, people are not really putting the money into savings. Is that the experience of your clients as well?
So yes, usually when bonuses come in, usually the practices, these are allocated for your Christmas spending, your gifts, your gatherings, and oftentimes it's also used to pay off, some debt or some things like, let's say, annual payments they have to pay for. So they wait till the end of the year to set aside for these things.
But, of course, the pressure to spend a lot of money on family gatherings, friendly reunions, as well as gifts is so strong. What do you tell your clients when they're faced with a crisis like this?
I think I always tell my clients, right, that you should be honest with your family and friends if you can't afford certain things. If you can't afford that out-of-town trip with them this Christmas season, it's better to be honest and tell them straight. As long as you're being kind, you're not rude about it, your family and friends should understand. And also, if the pressure is really, really strong, I always tell them to think like big picture thinking. Always think that if you overspend this Christmas season, you're again one step back from your long-term financial goals. So I always tell them to remind yourself of your long-term goals. Put it on your bathroom mirror, put it on your cell phone wallpaper, something to remind you all the time. It's kind of like going on a diet. You really have to stay away from the temptation and remind yourself why you're doing that.
Right. Would it be fair, for example, to say, okay, I might not be able to spend too much time with you guys, but I will be ready when you do really need me? Like, for example, for emergency funds, what kind of mindset or money mindset should people get into as they receive their bonuses, as they receive their rewards for a year of hard work?
I think once, like right now, if people are waiting for their bonuses, they should plan ahead, like really think through of what they need to pay for, what they need to set aside, and also like just really, list down everything they need to spend for. And then after that, just pay off everything they need to pay for. And if they have any high interest debt, then they should pay for that. And then after that is savings, right? So save for your future self. Your emergency fund is really the first thing you should save up for. And if you have that, then you can move on to your other saving goals or investments. And then after that, of course, you can still enjoy your money.
Talk about enjoying money. Of course, offline we were talking about how the credit card debt that people accumulate is not exactly because of a crisis or an emergency or a health problem, but because of leisure and travel. And with that in mind, what do you tell to clients who can't seem to get rid of their addiction to instant gratification?
Right. So I think for me, I always just say out of sight, out of mind. So I do have some clients, for example, who are struggling with their cards and they have like 4 cards, 5 cards. I tell them, okay, let's finish off your debt, but at the same time, you have to cut down on like your access to it. Delete those apps, really stay away, unfollow people on social media that kind of promote overconsumption, things that might, trigger them to try to keep up with that lifestyle. So really just, again, it's like a diet. Try to stay away from the junk, try to stay away from the temptation. And really, think about your long-term goals.
And your clients, have they been successful at being able to manage not just their debt, but actually, do you have like a successful story as to how they were able to manage their debt plus invest for the future?
Yeah. So I do have, many clients that have different goals and different things that they want to achieve with me. But I remember specifically, I have one client, I'm only like less than 1% of the work she did. She was very disciplined, but she really wanted to move abroad. She really wanted to like leave the Philippines and move to like Europe. And actually less than a year, she made it. She saved up and she was so disciplined. And now she's happy in Europe. And yeah, I always love hearing updates like that.
And these are the images that we want to preserve when people start to receive their bonuses. I mean, positive and really future proofing your life. Mariel Bitanga Quintanar, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you sharing your advice, life advice for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And now before we go, we leave you with this thought from billionaire investor Warren Buffett. Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. And that is it for today's edition of Follow the Money. I'm Raine Musñgi. Thank you so much for watching. Keep it here on BNC, the Billionaire News channel, always on top.